Okay, I declare this meeting open at 7 p.m. and welcome everyone to this evening's meeting of Ku-ring-gai Council. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I extend that respect to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here this evening. As councillors, we are entrusted with the responsibility of representing the diverse interests of our residents. Let us work together in a collaborative spirit, respect diverse opinions and seek common ground for the good of Ku-ring-gai. Before we begin, I'd like to outline a few procedures in relation to this evening's meeting of council. This meeting is being recorded and webcast live on council's website. Only councillors and council staff will be shown on camera. Attendees must not make a recording or photograph of the meeting without prior approval. Council meetings are open to the public as observers only, in line with the Code of Meeting Practice. Members of the public can address council via the monthly public forum. Council may close part of the meeting to deal with certain confidential matters in accordance with Section 10A of the Local Government Act. These discussions will not be open to the public and will not be webcast. All attendees must comply with the Code of Meeting Practice and other relevant council codes, policies and procedures. Attendees must refrain from engaging in disorderly conduct, publicly alleging breaches of the council's code of conduct or making other potential defamatory statements. Councillors, council staff and members of the public must ensure that mobile phones are turned to silent during the meeting. Councillors and council staff must declare and manage any conflicts of interest that they have about any of the business items that is on the agenda this evening. I'll start with the apologies. Are there any apologies for councillors? No, I see everybody's here today. Are there any apologies for staff?
Mayor and councillors, the Director of Strategy and Environment, Andrew Watson, is currently on leave and represented tonight by Acting Director Jacob Seif, and we have the General Manager who is in attendance remotely via Zoom this evening.
Thank you. We'll do disclosure of interest by councillors. Are there any conflict of interest declarations for councillors? Okay, there are none from councillors. Are there any conflict of interest declarations for staff?
There are none, Mayor and councillors.
Okay, thank you. Are there any documents circulated in the council papers to be dealt with at an appropriate time during the meeting?
There are several, Mayor and councillors. The first is an explanatory memorandum for item GB12, proposed redevelopment of St Ives Village Shopping Centre involving adjoining council land and road reserve. Minor corrections and clarifications which were also circulated to the Mayor and councillors on the 12th of November. There is late confidential items C1, Land Environment Court Transport Oriented Development SEP, a report by the General Manager dated the 22nd November, and a confidential memorandum for item C1, Land Environment Court Transport Oriented Development SEP, which was circulated to the Mayor and councillors on the 26th of November.
Okay, thank you. Are there any reports to be considered in a closed meeting and not released to the press and public?
Mayor and councillors, yes, there are. Attachments 1, 3, 4 and 5 for item GB2, Youth Advisory Committee, and agenda item C1, Land Environment Court Transport Oriented Development SEP report.
Thank you. Now, can I just have a motion for these reports to remain confidential? The motion by Councillor Spencer and seconded by Councillor Pettit. I could just put that to the vote. That is unanimous. Okay, so we'll do the confirmation of minutes. Now, I've got 3 lots of minutes, but I will do the one motion if we can to move them all in one go. We've got the minutes of the extraordinary meeting on the 8th of the 10th, 24. We have the minutes of the ordinary meeting, the 22nd of the 10th, 24, and the minutes of the extraordinary meeting on the 30th of the 10th, 24. Can I have a motion to confirm the minutes of the previous meeting? Moved by Councillor Pettit, seconded by Councillor Spencer. If I could put that to the vote, that is unanimous. I have one mayoral minute, which I will read out. It is Valet Bill Jones, dedicated environmental volunteer. It is my sad duty to inform the Council and Ku-ring-gai residents of the passing of a dedicated community member and environmental volunteer, Bill Jones. Bill and his wife Nola were long-standing locals and first became involved with the bush care movement back in the early 1980s, when they began volunteering for the Voluntary Bush Regeneration Group, formed in 1983 to work in reserves in Ryde, North Epping, Ku-ring-gai and Lane Cove National Park. Enthused by this initial experience, Bill and Nola moved to West Pymble in the early 90s and immediately became involved with the environmental group Cubes, or the Ku-ring-gai Bushland Environmental Society. Bill was president for several years until Cubes merged with STEP, the South Turramurra Environmental Protection Society. Nola became the coordinator of Lane Cove National Park volunteers, and along with Bill led bush walks for STEP and the Friends of Lane Cove National Park. A former CSIRO scientist, Bill devoted his retirement years to working tirelessly as an environmental volunteer. He volunteered for bush care at Quarry Creek for decades, regenerating weed-infested areas into the healthy natural bushland alongside Nola. Later, he and Nola turned their attention to Bicentennial Park to stop the balloon vine, which was rampant there, from spreading downstream. Another of the couple's favourite sites was Wallawong Crescent, where they persuaded council to stop mowing to increase the recovery of several native grass species and boost the area's biodiversity. Bill and Nola were trainers and educators for several Ku-ring-gai bushland bush care groups. Their passion for the local environment and wildlife was so inspiring that many volunteers they taught subsequently enrolled in TAFE to gain formal qualifications. In addition to his bush care duties, Bill was an active member of the Australian Plant Society North Shore Group. He gave advice on signage, led walks at the Ku-ring-gai Wildflower Garden, and presented several talks each year on plant identification. Thanks to Bill, this program became one of the Society's most successful in informing residents about native plants and their identification. In 2012, Bill and Nola were recognised with a mayoral award for their outstanding contribution to the Ku-ring-gai community. The citation acknowledged their dedication, passion and ongoing commitment to environmental education and volunteering. Without their passion, the creek and surrounding bushlands would be overrun with lantana and privet that strangle and pollute the beauty of our precious bushland. The council and our community have lost such a dedicated and committed volunteer in Bill Jones, and his family have lost a much-loved man. On behalf of council, I express our sincere condolences to his widow, Nola, and Bill's family and friends. There is a recommendation that A, that the mayoral minute be received and noted. B, that we stand for a minute's silence to honour Bill Jones, that the mayor write to Bill Jones's family and enclose a copy of the mayoral minute. Would any councillor like to speak on the mayoral minute? Okay. So I'll just put the mayoral minute to the vote and then we'll do our minute silence. Okay, that is unanimous. All right, if we could just stand to have a minute's silence for Bill. Okay, well, we'll move on to petitions. Have any petitions been received by councillors or staff? No petitions? Oh, is that a petition? No. Okay, so we'll move on to general business. I'd like to invite councillors to nominate any item on the agenda that they wish to have a site inspection for. No site inspections. General business items. Can I please ask a councillor to nominate any items on the agenda that they wish to adopt as per officer's recommendation, allowing for minor changes without debate? Councillor Spencer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I wish to move all the GB items with the exception of GB 12. Just let me clarify that, yes, correct. So that is GB 1 to 13 and C1, officer's recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Spencer. So Councillor Spencer moving, seconder Councillor Pettit. Okay. I'd like to put that to the vote. All those councillors in favour? That is unanimous. Okay, so we've just got the one item, which is GB 12. Councillor Devlin.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to move an amendment to the rest staff recommendation without debate.
Okay, so that will become the motion. Yep. Okay, do we have, so Councillor Devlin's moving, seconder Councillor Smith. Okay, we're moving that without debate. So all councillors in favour? That is unanimous. Fantastic. This looks like it'll be a quick meeting. Business without notice is the next item. Is there any business without notice? Oh, sorry. Subject to clause 9.3 of the Code of Meeting Practice. No business without notice, councillors? Okay, conclusion of the meeting. There being no further business, I'd like to thank councillors and staff. I'd like to thank members of the public for their attendance. The webcast of this meeting will be available on the council website and minutes will be published within the next 2 working days. I declare the meeting closed at 7:13. Thank you.